When I was 18, I didn't expect my life to change the way it did. My mother had passed away 2 years earlier, and my father was often overseas for work. I spent most of my time drifting between school, part-time jobs, and long quiet evenings in a house that suddenly felt much bigger than it used to. The world felt like a place I had to navigate alone, even when people tried to offer help. But everything shifted when my mother's closest friend, Anna, became my legal guardian. She had been a part of my life for as long as I could remember. She wasn't a relative, just the woman who helped my mom through every hardship, the one who brought soup when I had a fever, the one who cheered at my school plays when my dad couldn't make it. When my mom passed, Anna stepped in, not because she had to, but because she cared. At first, I didn't understand why she wanted to take on the responsibility of raising a half-grown teenager who barely knew how to talk about his feelings. But Anna always said my mom trusted her more than anyone, and she intended to honor that. For a while, things were quiet. I tried to keep my head down, and Anna tried to give me space. She never pried into my grades, my social life, or my late-night walks around the neighborhood. She just made sure dinner was on the table, the bills were paid, and that I had someone in the house who asked how my day was. But one afternoon in early spring, she called me into the kitchen and asked for something that I didn't expect, something that changed everything between us, though not in the way stories like these usually go. It wasn't dramatic or complicated or inappropriate. It was something much simpler, yet far more meaningful. She asked for help, not the kind of help adults usually ask of teenagers, mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, helping move a piece of furniture. She wanted help healing a part of her life she had ignored for years. Anna had been struggling quietly. I always noticed how tired she looked after work, how often she sat staring at the same page of a book, how her hands trembled slightly when she thought no one was watching. Losing my mother had been hard on me, but I sometimes forgot that Anna had lost her best friend, the person she relied on just as much as I did. That day, she opened a wooden box I hadn't seen before. Inside were letters, photos, mementos, all neatly wrapped in faded ribbon. She told me the box had belonged to my mother, and that she had kept it safe for years without having the courage to open it herself. "I think we should read these together," she said quietly. I haven't been able to face them alone. And for the first time since Mom's death, someone wasn't trying to comfort me, I was being asked to comfort someone else. We spent hours that evening sitting at the kitchen table looking through memories of a life I only half understood and a friendship that had shaped both of our worlds. Anna told stories about my mother I had never heard, how she used to dance in the rain, how she saved stray animals even when she wasn't allowed to keep them, how she once drove 3 hours just to bring Anna a birthday cake. Hearing these stories didn't make me sad the way I expected. Instead, it made me feel connected to a part of my mother I thought was gone forever. And Anna, who had always been so composed and strong, finally allowed herself to cry in front of me, not the quiet kind of crying adults do when they think kids can't see, but real tears of grief and gratitude. From that night on, our relationship changed, not into something inappropriate or strange, but into something stronger, something built on shared memories and mutual healing. We became partners in rebuilding our lives, each helping the other through moments we couldn't face alone. Anna asked for my help with small things, repainting a room she had avoided since my mother used to visit, sorting through old papers, starting a garden they had planned together but never finished. I began volunteering at the community center she supported, partly because she encouraged me, partly because I liked feeling useful for once. She attended every school event I participated in, cheering louder than anyone else. When I gave a speech at graduation about resilience and gratitude, I looked out into the audience and saw her wiping tears from her eyes. As the years passed, we didn't drift apart the way temporary guardians and teenagers often do. Instead, we became each other's chosen family. Not because we had to, not because paperwork said so, but because life had intertwined our paths in a way that neither of us expected. When I eventually moved out for college, Anna helped me pack. She labeled every box neatly, slipped encouragement notes into my textbooks, and hugged me longer than anyone else did that day. She didn't say she was proud, she didn't have to. I could feel it. I called her every week. She sent me care packages full of homemade cookies and grocery gift cards. And every holiday, without fail, I came home, not because it was my obligation, but because home was still where she waited. Years later, when people ask about my family, I tell them I grew up with 2 mothers, one who brought me into the world, and one who helped me stay afloat after she left it. Anna's unexpected request didn't just change her life. It changed mine, and it reminded both of us that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about the people who choose to stay.